Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to share with you a project that's earning me over $180 per day. Now, if you saw this video yesterday, which crypto projects made me $26,000 in February alone? I was a little bit sneaky here. This little banner moves down. Someone in the comments said, could you move the banner? We can't see anything. As I talked about each project, I kind of moved the banner down. You can go watch that video if you want. However, project number 6 or 7, there's two projects that in the month of February I added a lot of money into. And one of these projects is earning me right now a little over $180 a day, and I'm about to almost double that here in here probably beginning of next week, maybe next 7 to 10 days. So I'm excited about this project. I'm excited about what they're doing, and mainly because I think they're doing a lot of things right. Now, those of you, if you love passive income, be sure to subscribe to the channel. On this channel, we talk about passive income. We talk about cryptocurrency, the technology of cryptocurrency, and the future of this technology, and how it can truly revolutionize the world for the positive, for the good. And I believe those of us that are here early, those that are taking advantage of this space early, I believe that we have the most potential to be a part of the greatest wealth shift that I think is going to take place within our lifetimes, and probably within the history of the world. I mean, I think cryptocurrency is truly going to change the world, and I think it has the potential to change the lives financially for so many of us who are part of this ecosystem very, very early. If you agree with that, don't just subscribe to the channel. Go down in the description and subscribe to our Crypto Passive Profits newsletter. Go down below, click right here, subscribe. Put your name, email address, and subscribe. It's totally free. All right. So let's talk about this project for a moment. First of all, many of you are familiar with strong nodes. There's a lot of node projects out there. This Dune Analytics page really shows one of the problems with strong nodes, that those of you that are familiar with that. And if you're not familiar, then I'll go ahead and tell you. Basically, Strong has a reward pool that they pay out their node holders, and because it's a limited supply token, of course, the pool is dropping, and it's dropping very, very fast because now the people who created nodes has just skyrocketed. Now, Strong has come out with some options, and that's not the project I'm talking about. A lot of people early on made suggestions about what Strong could do to be, myself included, by the way, to be able to be a more sustainable project. Now, Strong, they didn't beat around the bush. They basically said, no, that's not the direction we want to take the project. And now they're going to launch their own chain. They come out with a light paper for it yesterday, I believe it was. I'm very cautiously optimistic on what Strong is going to pull off. I'm excited to see what they're going to pull off, and hopefully it ends up becoming an incredible ecosystem. They're creating their own layer 1 chain, and that's really great. I guess the downfall is it's going to take a lot of technicals, take a lot of adoption, and it's a high hurdle. It's an ambitious goal, and if they can pull it off, it may be extraordinary for that ecosystem, but it's very, very ambitious. What I suggested early on, and a lot of people suggested, is that Strong find a way to be able to own their own liquidity. This is something that we saw in some of the DAO projects, which they basically just managed it all wrong. We're talking about like Olympus DAO and stuff like that. The idea of owning a project, owning their own liquidity, is so incredible, and it's so fascinating because what it does, whether you realize this or not, when a project owns their own liquidity, what we're talking about is, for example, if you were to use a token, if Strong did it, you would use, say, the Strong token and say DAI or USDT or something like that on the Ethereum blockchain. And you would pair those two tokens together and create what's called a liquidity pairing, or LP token. And you would put that on SushiSwap or Uniswap, something like that. And what that would allow is it would allow the development team to earn some significant returns. I mean, in excess of 20% a year in most cases, because it's such a volatile token anyway, for that token pairing. So it's a way for them to be able to know there's liquidity there. It brings stability in price, and it produces significant income for the protocol in and of itself. Well, there's a project that has taken that route. They did and they're on a better blockchain, lower gas fees, better because it's lower gas fees. So it's not on Ethereum, and their approach to this problem here, I think, is very, very realistic. And their approach is you don't run from it. You understand it, you expect it, and you explain it in the long term. And you find a way that you buy yourself a lot more time than this. And I think what they're doing, the way they're going about it, is pretty smart. Now, I'll tell you up front, if you follow me on this channel, you know I like to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. There is a part of this that I don't like about this particular project and what they're doing. And I will share that with you. But overall, they're doing a lot of things right. I think there's a lot of potential, and the project's done very well in the past probably month or so since I've been building a position. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Kubo. Kubo.money is actually let's go back there. Kubo.money is actually the website. We'll go there first. This is the actual website, what you see. Node up, contribute to liquidity. Now, when they say node, those of you that are familiar with like master nodes, this isn't really, you're not really creating a node. I mean, node is just the up and coming term that people have co-opted, so it's basically. But it's a protocol where you provide liquidity. They own the liquidity. So you don't, quote unquote, just buy a node. In order to get a node, you have to provide liquidity. Create a stable passive income, nodes for everyone, simple to use. Now, there's a few things I like about this project. I'll talk about what I like overall about the project, and then I'll kind of go show you a little bit of the technicals of what's going on. One thing that I love is the transparency of the project. Now, the dev is KYC through like that service like Assure or whatever, but those of you that follow my channel, I never care about devs being KYC'd. I don't think crypto can go long term by every dev in the ecosystem trying to create a decentralized project that's going to directly compete with traditional finance. I don't think it's wise long term for devs to KYC, but this dev did KYC himself, which is fine. He's also been on a couple of channels. In fact, he's free to come on this channel if he'd like. I'd love to do an AMA with him. But he's talked about the project, talked about what he's doing, and he's very transparent in what he's talking about and what his expectations are from the get-go. In fact, somebody just asked a question in Discord yesterday. The dev had quoted, and he basically said, someone said, are the node rewards going to ever have to go down? And he said, yes, eventually. We're a long ways from that. But eventually, if we're successful, rewards have to go down. Now, that's a good thing, because what he's saying is the amount of Kubo tokens that we're paying out per node, we're not going to always be able to maintain that. He said that up front. And I think that is smart, and it is brilliant. And he was, right from the get-go. And wait until you see the chart on this project. The chart has been amazing. I'll show you the price chart, because the price has done phenomenal. He said, yes, eventually we'll have to pull back on the nodes rewards eventually, but that's a long ways down the road. But the idea is when you give less tokens, then the goal, the hope is that the protocol does well. You're giving less tokens, but the USD value is going up. So you're still getting strong USD rewards. You just are able to get the same USD rewards with less tokens. That's the hope. That's the goal of the project if it's successful. Now, ladies and gentlemen, nothing in this video should be considered financial advice. I'm just a passionate, enthusiastic YouTuber who spends far too many hours trying to do my own research in this space, and I make investments and I create content about those investments. I am invested in this project. I am obviously biased. I want to see this project do well. I've been meaning to do a video on it for quite some time, and I haven't. This is not sponsored content, by the way. I'm not sponsored to talk about this project. I am personally invested in this project, and I like this project. I think it has a lot of potential in the short term and probably the medium term as well. The long term's a little questionable, but they have a goal of viability. I'll put it that way. There's a difference in sustainability and viability. So many projects talk about, is this sustainable? Is this sustainable? The question is this viable? Is this viable long term? That's what Strong is struggling with right now. They're struggling with sustainability, and they're trying to create a plan for viability, and we don't know if Strong can get there. And we don't know for sure if Kubo can get there. I can tell you that there's less technical hurdles for Kubo to be able to become viable. Now, Kubo's long-term goal, those of you that are familiar with Yearn Finance, Yearn Finance is a project that basically invests in DeFi, and they use profits to basically buy up their token. Kubo is really a cross between Yearn Finance, the DAO ecosystem, and node space. If there was a project I could have created in this space, if I was going to create some sort of a node project, this might have been something that I would have went for. The other thing that I like is not only is the developer like out there talking about the project, he's in Discord all the time. He's consistently communicating. All that's positive. All that's good. The community's really good. Go check out their Discord. They have a Discord right here. Just go check it out. But the rewards are good. The rewards are, in the short term, the word is much more sustainable. And I like that a lot. And I think that the way they distribute rewards really puts a lot of buy pressure on the price. I'll show you that in a moment. But first, let's take a look at the chart real quick to see where we're at with Kubo. The chart has pulled back. This is the hourly chart. It's pulled back. I am here in a few more days going to make a buy. I'm hoping it kind of stays down because I've gotten a lot of my Kubo just below $20. I mean, look at it. Let's come out. Oh, there we go. Let's go back to here we go. This is the daily. So you can see what this project is still fairly new, but the chart looks beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This pullback right here, it looks like it may be, maybe somewhere around here it's going to bounce and go back up. Hopefully, who knows? I'm not saying that's going to happen. Not financial advice. I'm DCA, dollar cost averaging, buying a little bit every weekend. Don't ever just jump in all at once. I like the price chart. I like what it's doing. And here's the other thing. If you go look at the app, there's like still very few nodes created. That is fun. I have 3 nodes. We'll get to that in a moment. Right here. Total nodes. Total number of nodes. 2,000 nodes. That's nothing. There's only 2,000 nodes here. That is absolutely nothing. I mean, that's crazy to me. 2,000. I think we're going to hit 10,000 relatively soon because it's starting to catch on a little bit more, I think. So we'll have to see what happens, but I could see this definitely crossing over to the 10,000 and maybe even tens of thousands of nodes. We'll have to wait and see what happens. That's my hope. That's my goal. So right now I have 3 nodes, and they are the mini node. I get 3 Kubo per node, and right now I'm getting 9 Kubo per day. So the way this works is the Giga node they pay out 1% per in Kubo each day, and it goes down from there. So I think I'm getting 0.5. Is it 0.5% I'm getting right now with the mini node? I'm about to get. I got 380 Kubo right now, and I'm going to be buying some more, but I'm going to get the kilo node. Those are the daily rewards. The way you actually get your node is you come over here and you mint a liquidity node, and I'll show you kind of what that looks like. You come over here, you select your node. You can come all the way down and get it for as little as 25 Kubo, and it just goes up. This is, by the way, this was a new development. When I got into the project, the smallest node, I think, was the nano node, was the smallest, but the price went up so quick, they created these other nodes so people could get in. But right now I'm at the mini node, and what you do is you take 250 Kubo and 250 DAI. You take Kubo and DAI, and you basically select that and you click next, and you provide a little. You got to have it in your wallet, but you provide each. And once you do that, you click mint node. And once you mint the node, once the transactions go through, it'll show up here. And then every day right now, it's at 8 p.m. GMT time that you get node rewards. But it's going to be set up where, in fact, soon, I think it's within the next week or so, it's going to be set up where you're getting rewards every day at the time that you created the node. It's going to be great for the reward system overall. That's how nodes work. That's, how you get nodes and that sort of thing. Now let's talk about what they're doing, because keep in mind you're minting these, so they own their own liquidity and they have a treasury. What are they doing with the treasury? I told you one of the things I like is that they're pretty transparent about this. So they put out this Medium article yesterday talking about the treasury. Now it went out on March 1st. I think it was yesterday. What is that? 2 days ago. So they put out this, I guess I read it yesterday. They put out this article about the treasury, and the gist of the article, they basically repeated some of what was in the white paper, some of what was in the other AMAs. They did make one small announcement in here. So they have a buyback bot developed where they're using part of the treasury funds to buy back, and they talked about creating a second bot. So they'll have 2 scenarios where a buyback bot is using treasury funds to be able to buy on the open market, the treasury revenues to be able to buy back on the open market. Now, their treasury right now has about $400,000, which is nothing. I mean, that treasury could easily get to millions of dollars. But they're totally transparent. Here's the treasury. They just put this out, I think it was maybe the end of February, last day of February. They put this out showing what they're investing in. They do have about 10% of the treasury in strong. By the way, I'm not a fan of this. When I talk to you about what I'm not loving, I'm not totally a fan of this part. I'm okay with all of this. The returns are okay. And this is kind of a conservative way to get into the treasury. Now, the goal is this is going to be a full DAO. And they talked about that a little bit in this treasury article, meaning everyone in the community who owns Kubo are going to be able to vote. And they did have a vote about strong. And ironically, it went through. Most people said they wanted 10%, but they've got to work on the voting mechanism, and they said that they didn't want to waste time. They felt it was important to go ahead and get the Treasury invested. So they went ahead and they got the Treasury invested, and this is where they invested the Treasury. Here's the Treasury address if you want to go look it up. I'm okay with this. Like, I get it. This is a great start. I want to get to some of the ugly that I talked about. What things I don't like. It's not ugly. It's just what I don't love. First of all, I think 10%, if you want to go into Strong, is fine. Strong is a very risky play right now. It's very risky. We know that the rewards pool for Strong is drying up. We know that they're trying to launch the Strong chain, and we know they're supposed to be launching it soon, but we're still not very clear on what that ecosystem is going to do. And I don't think it makes any sense. And I've seen other node projects that they'll start a node project for the sole purpose of investing in another node project. That's just dumb. I just think that overall is a bad idea. And I think most of the people who were suggesting, because they have in their Discord, they actually have, let's see if I can pull it up because it's super cool. In their Discord, by the way, they have official links, and you can see all the different links. The audit, they were audited. You can see the KYC by Assure. You can follow the Treasury investments, which is a link that I have up there. So all that's super cool. But they also have this one over here. Where's it at? They talk about Kubo node strategies. And they have in here somewhere, oh, right here, Kubo Treasury, where people talk, I was in there. People talk about the Treasury and what are their ideas, what are their plans. So I'm looking to see more things done with the Treasury. I do think it's okay for the Treasury to take on risk. I just think they have to be a little bit more calculating when they take on that risk. The other thing is they're not in the NFT space. I love the NFT game space. Many of you know that I'm a fan of that space. And I think some of those projects can do really well. Now, I don't think you should, my personal opinion is you really shouldn't put more than 5% in any project, 10% max, but I would really love to see 5% for a Treasury. The idea is you want something that's going to be stable, and you want a Treasury. I personally am not going to invest in 20 different projects, but if I'm responsible for a Treasury that's worth hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, then in that case, and other people are dependent on those funds to be able to serve a purpose, then I'm probably going to put 5% in each project, and probably no more than 5%. Now, of course, he is under 5% for the most part, and that's really good. My concern is that he doesn't know what to do with the Treasury exactly. I think this is a very DeFi conservative approach personally. They have talked about moving over to other chains as well. Again, this was just a start. So here's the thing I would like to see them do with the Treasury. I would like to see them put the Treasury, I'd like to have them look at the Pulse chain ecosystem. I think there's going to be potential there. I mean, some good potential, and I love this diversification. I'd love for them to look a little bit into the NFT space. Now, I'm not talking about anything that's super speculative, but some of those projects, the earnings are quite good, and I think it's feasible to be in that space. I think it makes sense to be in that space. The NFT space, I'd like to see the Pulse chain space a little bit, and of course, other chains. I'd love to see things happening there. There's no fees to claim your rewards, which is awesome. There's no tax to claim rewards. I think that's awesome. But I think taxes used properly do serve a purpose, even if it's a 3% tax. I think taxes always need to be small, but I think they serve a valuable purpose. A 3% tax that went directly to the Treasury, or a 3% tax could be used in some way to support the token price, even if it was burned. I think that would be helpful over time. Just my opinion. Let me know what your thoughts are overall. I like Kubo. I'm definitely here. So here's what I'm currently doing. My plan, I have 3 nodes. I'm going to get a 4th one that's a kilo node. And right now I'm thinking about getting a 5th node that's going to be a kilo node. So I'll have 3 here and then 1, 2 here. And at that point, I'm probably going to do a little bit of a 50-50 reinvest just to kind of see where they go from here, what they do. I'm going to continue to watch the price. I'm continuing to dollar cost average. I'm okay if the price pulls back a little bit. I did buy some up here at 27, but I'm okay if the price pulls back a little bit because I want to get more lower. Again, not financial advice, but I can see this token price going significantly higher. Understand, there's only 2,000 nodes. That is nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. They own their own liquidity. I don't think it would take much for this project to potentially really blow up. And the fact that they've already, not only have they created the Treasury, they've already deployed it. I mean, so many projects never did that. And the developer, when you hear him talk, I mean, he's very passionate about this project. So I really, really like that as well. So let me know what your thoughts are, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I love cryptocurrency. I love earning passive income. If you love cryptocurrency, you love earning passive income, be sure to subscribe to our Crypto Passive Profits newsletter down into the description. Decentralized cryptocurrency equals his crypto wealth. And there's one last thing that I wanted to share with you. I felt like I didn't discuss node rewards well enough and the benefit that I see. One of the things that I loved early on that caught my attention was the node rewards. I have oftentimes felt like 1% was extremely aggressive to pay out every single day. And that sort of ecosystem seems to, even if it becomes popular, and every example I've seen of a protocol becoming popular, paying out 1%, typically it runs about a year to 18 months, and then it starts running into issues. We're seeing that right now, I think, with the Drip Network. Just for one example, we're seeing it happen with Strong, which I don't think is quite a year old yet. And that's where they've got to reinvent themselves or do something. And what I saw with Kubo was they weren't paying out a full 1% unless you came in at the giganode. Now, when I got in, they only had the nano, and it was 0.5%. Now, I think if he had to do it over again, he would adjust all these percentages a little bit. Well, when the project launched, I think Kubo was only like $3. So a nano node was $300, which is modest. Of course, now a nano node's like $2,500 or something. So he created these lower tiers just to give everybody access. But this 0.2% a day, 0.3% a day, 0.4% a day, 0.5% a day. This is for the smaller investor. But the bigger investor that can, like myself included, I can get a micro node right now, but I'm holding off. I'm saving because I want a kilo node. Why? Because there's a significant percentage increase on your earnings. It's not just 0.1%. This is 6, this is 7. It's, probably a 15% increase in earnings. But I feel like it encourages people to want to buy in at the higher node and want to keep upgrading. Look, this is a 5,000 giganode, and there's just a handful of these sold. I heard the developer talk about it on an AMA. There's just a handful of these sold. But this thing right now, 5,000 giganode, 5,000 Kubo giganode is paying out 100 Kubo a day. That's 1%, and you have to come in there just to get 1%. Now everything maxes out at 1%. But think about those earnings. Those earnings right now are like $2,500 a day. Right now, at all-time highs, it was close to $3,200 a day. So, and I believe that we're going to we have the potential, not financial advice, but it is my opinion, my biased opinion, that price is going to go up. I'm hoping it goes up, which is why I'm trying to go ahead and get a kilo node. But I think that having these lower payouts helps for the short-term sustainability to get the Treasury established, to get the DAO established, which should probably only take the next 3 months, maybe 6 months at the most. So long before the protocol would run into sustainability issues, hopefully we can start creating a viability issue. Now, one more thing that I didn't mention in the previous video as well, but the one thing that I haven't seen that I would like to see is I would actually like to see a tentative plan to scale back rewards, meaning I would like to see that they start scaling rewards back by, preferably the higher nodes first, if possible, if that's possible. And it's in a smart contract, so I don't know if that's possible. But I would like to see scaling back start happening maybe within a year, say, hey, in a year, in 12 months, we're going to scale back by 5%, a month, meaning 5%, and hold that. We're going to scale rewards back, and then maybe we're going to scale it back by 8% or 6% or whatever. And I would love to see some sort of plan, because I think that would be positive for price. Meaning, if you suddenly tell people, hey, we're going to cut rewards, then you're going to automatically create a scenario where people are going to start selling. The more advanced notice, if people start investing knowing that there's going to be a small reward cut coming in the future and hoping that the price is going to appreciate so that it doesn't matter, I feel like that would be a better way to go about it if you know you're already going to have to cut rewards eventually. Now, the flip side is, in the argument in Discord, is if the developer did that, there's no way of knowing. Rewards getting cut will happen based on node growth. So if the protocol grows slowly, it may be 2 or 3 years before they have to cut rewards, because, again, the rewards are much lower than 1%, which is awesome for sustainability, until we can get to that viability point. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I just think it would be better to say, hey, tentatively in 12 months, we're going to start cutting rewards, and here's how we're going to do it. We're going to cut them by 5% or 3% a month or whatever. And I don't mean keep cutting every month. I mean cut and hold for 6 months, and then maybe plan to do another 1 or 2 or 3 or 4% cut and hold that for 6 months. Just go ahead and let people know, because here's the problem. If you say, hey, we're going to do a small cut, and you don't give a number, some people are going to think 10% is small. You cut it by 10%. Other people are going to think that's huge. Some people are going to think, oh, we're just going to cut rewards by 1%. So I do understand the challenge with trying to give that projection, but I think it's good to be conservative and grow the platform, the protocol under that understanding. But that's just my opinion. And if you disagree with it, then please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much. I just want you to understand that I like the fact that the reward payouts are not 1%. And I like the fact that you get an incentive to buy in higher. Now, I will go ahead and say this. If the project doesn't go to viability, if we don't see viability in the project, then what's going to end up happening, people who are earning the big rewards eventually will be the first ones to start selling because they're earning the most. So buy pressure in the beginning is good, but long term, down the road, several months, it can turn into sell pressure as well if the project isn't doing well. So that's something that you have to be aware of. All right. You know, it's me, Crypto Wealth. I'm always giving you both sides, the good and the bad. And that's how I make my investing decisions. I believe if you can look at the good, look at the bad, and then make an objective decision, then you're going to be far better off than always making an emotional decision. Thank you for watching. I'm out.